Beat right there. That's Smitty's beat right there. I'm gonna turn this down. We're gonna get to it. Hey, thank y'all for tuning into this episode of the Chronic OGs podcast. I am the one they call Big Tone, one half of the Chronic OGs podcast. Shout out to my partner, my ace, Smitty, Shitty Smitty. And we're gonna get right to it. This is a one topic episode. It is Friday afternoon, and Darvin Ham just got fired. Before I give y'all my point, my take on this, I watched this show called Speak, and I watched it because Joy Teller fine as shit. But so I watched this show called Speak, and James Jones is actually really daggone good on TV. Really good on TV. And so he has a take on Darvin Ham getting fired. I'll let y'all listen to it. And then after his take, I'll tell you whether I agree or disagree and tell you why I agree or disagree. Here we go. Let's get it.
No. That's why my answer is no. Because, number one, there's no coach in the NBA right now. There's a lot of great coaches in the NBA, but there's no coach in the NBA right now that's taking this Lakers roster to the finals and winning it. This man was in the Western Conference Finals last year. He's in the playoffs this year. He's been taking all the shots, Slick. Every time something goes bad, he don't deliver in the fourth quarter, we lost when he gets to the podium. We lost. We don't know what we're doing. LeBron dribbling the ball off his feet, turning the basketball over crazy. He's out there, he's saying the things that he's saying. So everybody's pointing the finger. D'Lo going up for 17, you're dang right. They've been pointing all the fingers at me. It's my turn to kind of point some of these fingers back at these players because I'm not the one playing. They got to make the buckets. And when we need to make the buckets, they are not making the buckets, are making the plays. So I don't necessarily think it was the right move because, number one, what's going to make these players happy? Who's going to make these players happy? Every coach is not going to make the right decisions that you agree with. That's anything. That's football. That's anything. So you're going to get another head coach and you're going to step up to the podium and say some of the same things about this other head coach too. At one point, you got to hold yourself accountable, man. This man was in the Western Conference Finals with a roster that a lot of people didn't think should have been in the Western Conference Finals. With a roster this year, he's in the playoffs again. I felt like he did the best he could with what he had. And then when he needed his star players to step up, they didn't. Yeah. So, you know what? Everybody out the bushes, we come.
So I'm gonna give you my take. That's why I like that brother James Jones, because he be keeping it a buck. So let me ask y'all a question. For all y'all that think Darvin Ham should have been fired, let me ask y'all a question. In game 2, when KCP fell down, there was 17 seconds left on the clock and 12 seconds left on the shot clock. KCP tie score. KCP falls. Bron has a wide open look. He could have did one or two things. Shoot that thing, knock it down, you up 3. Or hold it till about 2 or 3 seconds on the shot clock and get a shot off, and maybe Jamal Murray don't have enough time to get that clean look he got. But either way, neither one of them things happened. You know what happened? He missed. He make that shot as 1-1. We not having this discussion. Things may be a little different. Maybe they lose in 7 or 6. shit, you never know. Maybe something crazier may happen. But he missed. Darvin Ham ain't missed that jumper. He missed. But then AD comes up in the podium and talks this bullshit about we don't know what we doing. So, but anybody that watched those games know that his fourth quarter stats were abysmal. Abysmal. And then, not only that, nigga got tapped on the shoulder and act like he got shot in the back. Ran the court the rest of the game with his arm dangling and shit looking like a dangling participle. So, they can blame ADO. They can blame Darvin Ham all they want to. I'm calling bullshit on that. And I hope my man, shout out Phil Handy. That's my guy. I appreciate you, coach. I hope they do the right thing and give him a shot. But Rashawn McCants had a good point on Gil's Arena. If y'all ain't here, he pointed out something extremely important. Hold on, I'm gonna let y'all hear. Give me 1 second. So what it is that Bron making his play for JJ Redick. People, I never agree with what Rashard McCants said. Listen to this though.
What is that right, Rashad? JJ and LeBron start a podcast. JJ says he wants to be a coach. And LeBron knows Darvin's ass and says he's fucking up with it. JJ is about the Lakers. LeBron still playing. JJ get the coach for Brian. Bring in Brian podcast. Thrive. She's still doing the podcast. Fucking hard.
I'm gonna let y'all hear it again. That shit sound real, especially considering reports are. I got this on my phone too. Reports are breaking news. Ty Lue and JJ Redick are among the Lakers' real candidates for their head coaching position next season. Number one, if Ty Lue's still under contract, there's no way I'm letting him go to the Lakers when I'm about to open up this new arena across, down 2 miles away, 3-4 miles away, down in Inglewood. There's no way he gonna leave that to come to this shit and Bron running shit at 40 years old. So hopefully Ty Lue stay with the Clippers. I think he's the right coach to open up that building with. Unfortunately, they coming up against my boy Joe Crack the Don, Luka the Don, Doncic. But Ty Lue a real one. So here goes something people ain't pointing out. So shout out Dr. Robinson, Russell Robinson, Oxon Hill High School's finest. Shout out to him, but I firmly disagree with what he said, what he texted me. He said, I said, Bron is a coach killer. And he said, no, it's time to go. I don't want to paraphrase because he got PhD, so he'll check it. He said, nah, the window is closed amid they don't want to admit it. No coach can get that roster past the Best West. So I take that back. Everything he just said, I agree with. But with that said, in the beginning of his statement, he disagreed with me about Bron being a coach killer. he tried to get rid of old boy. He didn't want Mike Brown. And then after they went to the finals, he ain't want none of Mike Brown. And then, okay, cool. He made the decision to take his talents to South Beach, right? He tried it. He tried that bullshit with Spoelstra. Found out Pat Riley wasn't having that bullshit, right? So that's one coach. He was unsuccessful with Eric Spoelstra. Big game. David Black had one of the best records in the East. Gone. Ty Lue again. No, Ty Lue for the first time. Won a chip. Right? So then you go. So he been with the Lakers 6 years. And he going on his third coach. And they won a championship. And he's going on his third coach. There's no way, Dr. Robinson, that this dude isn't a coach killer. There's no way. You didn't like this dude, we went and got you that dude. You don't like this dude, we didn't get you that dude. And if you should be mad at anybody, I don't even think you should be upset with D-Lo as much. Although that shit D-Lo pulled on his phone, eating snacks and shit on the bench while we got a timeout. Nah, bro, you're not starting the next game. And I'm thinking about not playing your ass because principle means something. In college, I would get away with that. In the pros, you won't. So I get it. But that was some bullshit. But with that said, so you're telling me that this is the right move? Because just like Russell Robinson said, and just like my boy James Jones said, who taking that team past them? Who taking that roster past them? Nobody. Their players were better than your players. It's that simple. Y'all had one clear advantage offensively. The Lakers had one clear advantage offensively. That's a roster thing. And it's real bad when that one clear advantage offensively about to turn 40. Darvin Ham ain't do that. AD, although AD played well, he ain't do it when he needed to do it. He ain't come through in the fourth quarter. I know that much. It was a time he had 2 shots in the fourth quarter. That shit ain't coaching. When you got it going quarters 1 through 3 and you disappear. Because as a coach, which I have been for 25 years, if I've run something, if I'm running the same thing and they change it up, then I'm going to make the adjustment. But it ain't just for me to make the adjustment as a coach. You motherfuckers are professionals. You're not high school kids. You got to make the adjustment too. Half the time, plays aren't even called in the NBA. It's just sets. Half the time, plays aren't even called in the NBA. Jamal Murray called that play against what's the name of that play when he shot that thing over AD? You know what that's called? Watch out, y'all. You trying to tell me when it was go time for Bean, we were worried about the triangle as much? No. Michael, his fourth quarter is close. Scotty, if you don't give me this goddamn ball, I'm gonna smack the taste out your mouth. You won't even be able to taste my Gatorade that you can be drinking at the end of this goddamn game if you don't give me this goddamn ball. We know how that goes. You really think Bean was worried, or Isaiah was worried about running a particular play in the fourth quarter when it's crunch time? Out of bounds play, yes. Side out of bounds, whatever, okay, cool. But a specific play, talking about we don't know what we seem like we didn't know what we were doing. That's you, bro. That's you, bro. That man, that black man lost his fucking job because of y'all, dog. And we already know how hard it is for black men to get and keep, especially the young ones, the up and coming ones, get and keep that opportunity. If you somebody like Doc Rivers, trash ass, you keep getting jobs. He was cool with getting him fired. Where'd that get Milwaukee? Bounce. Giannis or not, they supposed to be good enough to get more than one game. Well, what was that, 4-1 or 4-2? They should be good enough with Dame Lillard to win that series. If Doc Rivers was the answer. I'm talking about dudes that get their first opportunity. And next thing you know, I hope, but I doubt it. And he may not even want to get another coaching job. They owe him $10 million. That ain't shit. That ain't shit out there. I got another point to make. So Jeannie Buss had to sign off on this decision. Right? She had to sign off on this decision. Was it Darvin Ham that traded for Russell Westbrook thinking that shit was going to be a good match? I don't know who thought that. Darvin Ham didn't do that. Mm-mm. Was it Darvin Ham that understood the West guards were loaded, so you need good wing defenders? So I let Alex Caruso walk? Darvin Ham didn't do that. Mm-mm. Was it Darvin Ham that let KCP go, and KCP helped win you a chip, a bubble chip? Darvin Ham didn't do that. Nah. 6 years. About to be 3 coaches. 6 years for a Laker organization. You got to think about it. We had Pat Riley, right? Then we had a couple of them little bum-ass coaches, Dale Harris, Magic Johnson tried, whoever else tried. PJ came. Ever since PJ left, it's always the coach's fault. When PJ was there and they weren't playing well, that shit was on Kobe and Shaq. Which it should have been. You the 2 best players in the league. I shouldn't have to coach you through every minute of the game. I shouldn't have to do that. Or what to do in the 4th quarter, where we need the ball to go. If they going pick and roll, this is how we discuss. We're gonna play pick and roll. We already said in the 4th quarter we're gonna do this. We're gonna jump that. We're gonna take the ball out of Jamal Murray's hands or whatever. You couldn't take the ball out of Jamal Murray's hands because then he gonna toss that shit to Joker. Joker gonna either score it or give it to KCP or Michael Porter Jr. for a 3, or he gonna throw that shit up at the rim and Aaron Gordon gonna dunk it. You know why? Denver's players were better than the Lakers players. That shit ain't coaching. You can bring back Red Auerbach, Chuck Daly, Dick Motta. I don't think you can bring them all back. Pat Riley, and put them in one cluster, and maybe they win 2 games. Had Braun hit that shot, maybe they win 2. Things may be a little different because there's 1-1 going back to LA now with some momentum. You never know what happens. But Braun couldn't knock it down, but that was Darvin Ham's fault. Darvin, you messed that up. Because you should have prepared me more. No, nigga. Because here's why I'm going to call bullshit on that. And I'm risking something by saying this. Well, here's why I'm going to call bullshit on that part. It's because you got probably the best skill development dude in the country on your roster, on your bench, Phil Handy. Shout out, coach. Phil Handy. So it wasn't Coach Handy's fault because you were prepared. You was wide open. You had your hip where you wanted, ball placement in the hand. You had the seam set and everything because that's how much time you had. It wasn't Darvin Ham's fault because there was nothing that the Lakers could have done or nothing that the Nuggets could have done to change that particular situation, to change that particular play. The only thing that would have changed that play is if KCP wouldn't have failed. He raised it, boom, he stroked the middle, bow, and he missed it. That's Darvin Ham's fault. See, what that is, listen, Braun is one of the greatest players of all time. But we all know to get to that type of level, there has to be somewhat a little bit of narcissism included too. Because somebody that never takes the blame, come on, bro. Braun, you 6 years, 3 coaches, dog. That's not a coincidence, homie. Come on, y'all. I know y'all Braun sexuals gonna be tripping. Come on, man. 6 years, 3 coaches in LA after winning a championship. What y'all think? Y'all think it's Darvin Ham's fault? Especially if you give any credence to what Rashard I'm sorry. If you give any credence to what Rashard McCants said on Gil's podcast, if JJ Redick end up with that job, bro, that shit gonna be crazy, dog. Because trust and believe that second round pick they got, and unless somebody drafts Bronny ahead of time, somebody could draft Bronny out of spite for Braun. Draft his ass to Detroit. Then Braun will have a choice to make. You gonna go play up in the D, pause no Diddy, to play with your kid. So is Rob Palinka getting fired? I ain't heard nothing about Rob Palinka getting fired. Because Rob Palinka putting anybody else probably would have got fired for the rosters he put together. And for Darvin Ham to take a team to the finals after the moves they made in the trade to the Western Conference Finals, after the moves they made at the trade deadline, and then get fired the next year, and still went to the playoffs and lost to the reigning defending champions, and who a lot of people think they're gonna repeat. You lose your job because you got supposedly one of your star players that probably average like 1.2 points, 2.6 points, or whatever in the fourth quarter against Joker. The players didn't show up, man. D'Lo had an 0 for 7 games or whatever the shit, whatever. He had one of them games. That ain't coaching. Bron missing that jumper that would have made the series 1-1. That ain't coaching. That ain't coaching. That's the players didn't make the plays they needed to make when they needed to make them most. Because Bron hit that shot, you go back 1-1, boom. And you lose 4-2, and it's some competitive, but you lose 4-2, and the players had your support like they should, you don't get fired. AD should be ashamed of himself right now, bro. AD should be a damn shame of himself right now. Because he the one that started that bullshit with we weren't prepared, we act like we don't know where we're supposed to be, whatever the bullshit he said that night. After game 2, when Bron missed the 3-pointer, when the score was tied, which meant even if they come down and score, worst that can happen, you go to overtime. Darvin Ham didn't do that. Didn't do that at all. Praised them in the media when he wanted to, felt like he needed to praise them when one or the other had one of them Herculean type games. He didn't crack under the pressure. Right? He didn't go off. He was respectful as hell. A pure professional when he's dealing with the media. And the players didn't make the plays they needed to make. So he got fired. Make it make sense. They didn't do their job. That's like you going to work and your boss, you going to work and you don't do shit in the afternoon after lunch. And so because y'all don't do y'all job, you just come to work and chill because niggas ain't do their job in the fourth quarter, especially AD. So you just come to work and chill, but you get paid for a full day. And then corporate call down and fire your boss for lack of productivity on his team. So he gave y'all so much rope that y'all got him fired. I would blow the whole damn thing up. I would blow the whole damn thing up. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I'd blow it up, and the only person I would keep is Austin Reeves. Everybody else, I'm open to listening. You gotta blow it up. LeBron, I said it before, and I said it again. When Bron decided to go to LA, I was like, he gonna hold that team so hostage. And that's what he about to do. We celebrated the in-season tournament like it was the Davey O'Brien joint, or the Bill O'Brien, or whoever it is. That's how we celebrated that, right? Now let's talk about this nigga getting a statue. We're gonna give a dude a statue that got one bubble chip, missed the playoffs twice, lost to the same team twice in 6 years, and about to go on the third coach, all because he got 40,000. He scored 9,000 points as a Laker. That's so Jeannie Buss about to give him a statue. We're gonna draft his son. So my boy Sherrod, shout out Sherrod Spears, one of the best dads I know. So my boy Sherrod always gets on me because I'm a diehard Laker fan. I just don't root for him right now because I'm not a Bron guy. Sorry. So he always gets on me about that. He's a Bron guy. I still think he got Michaels first, but he got Bron second, I think. He always get on me because that's how I am. I'm a Laker fan, but I don't root for them right now. And I haven't rooted for him for the past 6 years. So the question was asked to me, okay, cool. So does that mean, in my mind, do the Lakers have one less championship? Technically, they don't. But if you want to say that, okay. Don't bother me none. Because they got a 4-month hiatus with AD's soft injured ass. If that's it, if there's no break in 2020, do they win it? Without going to the bubble? If there's no COVID-19, do they win it? I just have my doubts. So, I shout out Coach Darvin Ham. I don't feel sorry for him. Shit, he done made $20 million from this experience. Good for him. But from a coaching standpoint, man, I'm all for coaches losing their jobs when they don't perform, and it's blatantly obvious when they don't perform as a coach. They don't get the job done as a coach. I've been in that situation where there's been a limited few amount of seasons where I felt like I didn't do all I could, or I underperformed as a coach, because in my line, it's less about wins and losses, and it's more about developing these young men. But I think Darvin Ham can look in the mirror and be like, shit, it couldn't have been no better than me. Because, again, I don't know who they could get that could have did a better job than Coach Darvin Ham. So, thank y'all for listening to my rant. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Chronic OGs podcast. I'm that boy they call Big Tone. Shout out to all the homeless veterans. I'm out.